Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in the lab, in the wee hours of the morning. What I do for you. I got something nice for you today. I've been working on it, so let's get this party started. Right as a 25 rules to live by, storytelling, story with a message, the message of the story for life. I give you life lessons. You seem to be enjoying them because you're tuning in. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. That means to know. Right Thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission that all right thinkers do just that. I appreciate you subscribing and tuning in and getting these lessons. Let's do it. I asked the question, do you know you? My goal is to get you to do just that. Know thyself. If you don't have an answer, it's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you, help you to know you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you. Stay tuned. I got more for you too. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right? Think, know thyself. And to my eye, be true. Boy, I'm still in this book. Okay. Thinking in Destiny. I'm only on page 10. So let's roll. I got a lot of stuff to do, so let's get to the point. Today's right thinkers, let's talk about it's necessary to explain feelings and desire. That's the topic for today. And what he called feeling and desire, right thinkers, my terminology would be conscious, CONSCINECN, meaning the heart conscious, that's the feeling. You got that part, right? Conscious, desire. Your conscious is only desirable of what it was. That's the ego. Okay, so you got the heart and the ego. They got to work together. The ego got to submit. That's the concept. But that wasn't his concept. That's mine. But he got a different viewpoint. I'm gonna give you his viewpoint. See what you think about it. This is not a right thinking philosophy concept. It's one that I've studied and don't always agree with, but I can break it down to you this way. All right, let's go. So where we at? Start out. Got a few things I want to read right quick. Okay, where we at? Did that. Okay, the goal is to know. Oh, we did that already. Sorry about that. Now I'm over here. I'm in the next page. Matter of fact, on page 11. Let's talk about a way to end the way in which a properly qualified right thinker who seek a knowledge of self, insulation or liberation from what? The present mental bondage of nature. A lot of us are just ignorant to our higher self. That's the present state. Okay. Maybe what? Heroic effort to do what? Pull away from what? The masses. A lot of us, 85%, we just go with the flow. Yeah, they doing something, doing it too. So that's just being ignorant. If we can change that 85 number, that's a major problem for us. If we can break that sheep number down, maybe 50, we got something to work with. But that 85 number of ignorant people is a hard nut to crack. So that's just one concept. But understand that I'm trying to get us to think better for ourselves and work on it collectively. All right. Where we at? So to be that heroic effort to lead the masses of nature and the what? The illusions and you the illusions of the ignorance, and you go on ahead of a general in general to what? Escape that concept. Watch this. Freedom is to be what? Attained how? Mhm. It is said through the practice of right thinking, philosophy, aka yoga. For what? Through right thinking, it is said the thinking may be so disciplined. Watch this. That the person, the right thinker, okay, or The right thinker, male or female, what? The embodied doer learns what? To suppress, or his concept is destroy. Now, this is what I don't agree with. Let me show you right now. Its feelings and desires, and what dissipates the sense illusions in which its thinking has long been entangled, which is wrong thinking, thus being free from the necessity of what further human reincarnations. He say existence, but I know existence re-existence for him is reincarnation conceptually. He didn't know that, but he used his own words. I'm breaking it down for you. That's the one show you. I can take what he did and dress it up and make it look good, okay, and use it in the way it's intended. For human existence, meaning and to stop the further human re-existence is eventually what? Because the spirit, once it's enlightened, it absorbs into what? The universal Ba, which is God. And like I tell you, back to the ocean. The water always go back to the ocean, okay, the creator. So that's the concept. He had a little different, but he had understanding. I respect that. Now watch this. The right thinking, right thinkers learn to what? Indeed, to do what? Control his or her body and to discipline his or her feelings and desires. That's the goal of being master self, having control over everything. And your feelings come from the heart, your desires come from the mind. Hence, heart mind coherence. When they're on point, when they're in sync, you live in a righteous and virtuous life, aka right thinker. You may learn, watch this, to control your senses, and that's the whole goal. The human body, five senses, or is it? That's where we headed. But when in the physical body, the spirit had to adhere to the five senses of the body. So you got to get comfortable to that point where what? When you have control of your senses to the point where you can, watch this, at will be what? Conscious of states of matter interior to those ordinarily, why? Perceived by the untrained human senses. So with the third eye opening, we see what a lot of people don't see. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. And watch this. Thus be what? Enabled to explore and become acquainted with what? Higher states in nature that are mysterious to what? The ordinary or most human beings who live on that lower level. When you raise your consciousness, you have understanding of a whole lot of other things. And you may further, watch this, attain to what? Higher degrees of self-mastery. That's where I'm at. Over some forces of nature. Again, Luke, use the force. When you understand, what they say in nature, our set is intuitive or wisdom. When you use that force, you're studying, you're becoming what? Intuitively wise by learning and experience and doing the right thing. Every aspect of your character is being laid out for you to master for yourself. Moving on, where we at? All of which, like this, is questionable, sets the individual apart from what? The great masses. With knowledge of self, it separates the individual from the masses and the undisciplined doers. But watch this. But although the system of right thinking philosophy proposes to what? Liberate you, enlighten you, or isolate you, and you, the embodied self, meaning gaining knowledge of self to what? To move you away from the illusions of the senses. There's more to you than just taste, touch, see, and smell. Okay, understand that. That's what I'm trying to show you. And watch this. It seems clear that it is actually never, knowledge never leads one beyond, the ordinary knowledge never leads one past what? The confines of nature. This is plainly due to what? A misunderstanding and misunderstanding concerning what? The mind. What you mean? The mind that is trained in right thinking philosophy is the sense mind, knowledge, understand, intellect. Again, that's the part that you want to get because the heart is already taken care of. Excuse me. The mind that is trained in right thinking philosophy is gaining intellect, knowledge of self. Again, that's the best knowledge. And watch this. It is that specialized instrument, which is your brain, of the doer, every individual, that is what is described in later pages. I'll tell you about that later on. We call it the body mind. Here, distinguished from the two minds, hereto therefore is not distinguished. Why? Because minds for the feeling and desire of the doer. You need to know thyself to separate yourself in the mind from different aspects. Now we're going to get into the conversation that I started out with. It is necessary to what? The fruit, excuse me. It is necessary, where we at? Oh yeah, to explain. There we go. Feeling and desire. That's what we're going to now. In consideration, excuse me, it is necessary that feeling and desire be explained at this point. Now, well, what do it mean? There we are, right there. I'm gonna leave out all the fluff. I ain't got time for that, so I'm getting right to the heart of a consideration of feeling and desire introduces one of the most important and and far-reaching subjects put forth in this book. So this is his whole concept. Break stuff down for you, explain it to you, which is cool. Okay. At the time I was reading the book, I didn't understand, but it was doing everything. I just caught up. Now I'm fluent in what he's talking about from a different concept, for sure. So watch this. Now, it's significant. The significance and the value of feeling and desires cannot be overestimated. Why? The understanding and the use of feeling and desire may mean the turning point of what? The progress of the individual and even humanity. Wow. Tough statement. Watch this. It can liberate the doer. The doer, are you the individual or the right thinker? Aspirants, doers, right thinkers, all the same person. Okay, is you getting knowledge of self. So it can liberate you to do it from what? Listen, false, wrong thinking, false, wrong beliefs, false, wrong goals by which they have what? Kept themselves in darkness. Darkness and ignorance is the same thing, not knowing. Okay, you can't see nothing in the dark. You don't know nothing if you're ignorant. Now, it's what it disproves a false belief that what has been long blindly accepted. Which is that? What are we talking about? Here you go. A belief that is now so deeply rooted in the brainwashing of our people in what? The thinking of human beings that apparently no one has thought of this question or the question it. What is it that you question? Okay, it is this. Everybody has been taught to believe that the senses of the body are five in number: smelling, seeing, hearing, touching, and tasting. Before you put it in your mouth, those are things you got to do in the five senses to deal with that. But what he's saying now, here we about to go. The senses are stated in this book are units of nature. We understand that. Elemental beings, conscious as their functions, but unintelligent to what they really are. Why? There are only four senses. He's saying only four. I'm saying six. Another lesson right now. We're going to talk about his. Okay, I'm doing him. There are only four senses. He count smell, sight, hearing, and tasting. Don't like that order. Okay, it's the chronological order that nature follows. The first thing is the smell. The odor of something is give you a warning. Sometimes if it smells sweet, it's good. If it sounds rancid, you know it's bad. So the senses in the nose is giving you the first sign. But the thought process have to pick up the sense and know the difference between good or bad. That's the thought process, which I say they left out. If you're thinking, they say it's ESP, extrasensory perception. No, it's just natural instinctive to use the brain to calculate what's going on. The physical nose smells something. The brain got to hear it or think it, they're good or bad. What's the smell? Is sweet smell? Sour. Good, bad. Again, there's always duality. We live in a world, the physical world is based on opposites coming together to make a whole. But the concept is the smell, or the ears, the nose smells, the eyes see, the ears hear, and the mouth speak or taste. But when it says touch, he confuses touch, or not confused, but he used touch and feeling as one and the same. They're not. Okay, let's break it down. And for each sense, there is what? A special organ in the body that counteracts that. The thought. There is no special organ for what? Feeling. Why? Because it's not a sense. That's what he's saying, and he's right. Because feeling, though it feels through the body, which touch, taste, ear, but it's not the body. not of nature. It is one of the two aspects of you, the doer. Watch this. The animals also have feeling and desire, but animals are what? Modification from the humans, as explained later on in the book. I'll tell you about that when we get to that. But right now, watch this. The same must be said of what? Desire. The other aspect of the doer, feeling and desire, must always be considered together. Watch this. What he's saying, okay, I'm saying heart, mind, coherence. Gotta go together. Gotta work together. Gotta become one. He's saying the same thing. If you don't have knowledge of something else, you may get this and think, well, yeah, no, I can break it down a little different. I can say, au contraire, mon frere. I have a better and a clearer understanding of what he's saying. When I first started out, I didn't have that knowledge, so I couldn't, decide if it's right, wrong, good, bad, or indifferent. I just read it. I just acquired it. I just stuck it in there. I just put it in there. Now I'm starting to understand and digest it just what it is, and I can give it to you in a form which you can understand it and use it to your benefit. That's my goal. That's my point. So watch this. Those two got to go together. I started with the title going to be Feeling and Desire, aka Yin and Yang, because a lot of us identify with the yin and the yang as two opposites come together. So same thing here. I'm using feeling and desire. Watch this. Now, for what? They are inseparable. Again, neither can exist without the other. That's duality. He don't know nothing about that, but he's putting it his way. Again, we got to understand when a person is giving something from their artistic concept, they can only give you what they have. So understand that. So watch this. They are like what? Two poles of an electric current. The two sides of the same coin. A coin got to have a what? Head and a tail. Simple. Yin and yang. In, out, up, down, duality. Okay, moving on. So watch this. Therefore, this book that I'm reading right here, Thinking in Destiny, makes use of the compound term that they coined, feeling and desire. Let's work on that. Feeling and desire of the doer, which is you, is what? The intelligent power by which nature and the senses are moved. It is within what? The creative energy that is what? Everywhere, present in everything. Without it, what's that? Life would cease. Without the spirit, without being conscious of what we are, we wouldn't exist. So understand that, including nature and the universe. So it all comes back to the same thing. Feeling and desire is what? Is the beginningless and ends endless what? Creative art by which all things are perceived, conceived, formed, and brought forth, and what? Controlled, whether through what? The agency of the doer in the human bodies or of those who are of the government of the world, the outside world. If you've been run by the outside world society, you will have problems. Or, watch this, of the great intelligence, meaning the knowledge within yourself. Feeling and desire is what? Within all intelligent activities. Why? In the human body, feeling and desire is what? Is the conscious, power. Remember, our ego just lives to it's a desirous thing. It just desires whatever it wants. You have to have control of that. That's what I'm telling you about the ego. He didn't have that aspect, but he's telling you that desire is going to be there. It ain't going nowhere. Watch this. So watch this. It's the power. And watch this. The individual nature machine, which the conscious runs. Not one of the four senses fails. He right. Feeling the passive aspect. Now watch this. The passive aspect, you got passive and you got aggressive, male and female. The female is usually the passive one, the one that, sits. The aggressive one is usually the male. So everything is done like that. Male, female, opposites of each other kind of come together to make a whole. You can't have a coin just one side. Okay. The passive aspect of yourself, the doer, is that and what? The body which feels what? The the body and feels the impressions that are what? Transmitted to what? The body. How? By the four senses as sensations, further it can be what? It can in various degrees perceive what? Supersensory impressions. That's from the power to think, such as, watch this, such as a mood, an atmosphere, premonition. It can feel what is right and what is wrong. Sound familiar? That intuitive thing to tell you, yeah, you might not want to do that. Yeah, do that. That's intuitive knowledge that it's already in you. It don't come from out there. It comes from within. You have to tap into it, learn it, understand it. Hence, know thyself, know who you are, what you're about, and how you are, so you can function at your best, aka be your best self. To know thyself, you can be that. Not knowing yourself, it's impossible to have it. Okay, moving on. Let's get this thing going. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, there you go. I got to speed up that Google Boogers. Where we at? So now your instinct tells you what's right and wrong. That's inside. And watch this. It can feel what? The warnings of conscious spelled Conscience. That's the heart conscious. The mind conscious is spelled Conscious. Get that understanding and you'll see the difference. Watch this. They make the difference every time it's there. I bring it up to let you know that's what they're talking about. So the heart conscious, watch this, where desires, the active aspect is what? Excuse me, desire, the passive aspect is the one that warns you. That's your intuitive. That's Isis. Okay, female aspect. Watch this. Now, desire, which is the aspect which is positive, the active aspect of what the conscious power that what moves the body in the accomplishment of the doer's purpose. The doer functions simultaneously in both what? Its aspects. Thus, every desire arises from a feeling. Remember, Tuck felt in his heart, became conscious, and he uttered himself into existence. That's God-like imagery. We do the same thing, even in the body. We do it even in the flesh. Watch this. From feeling, watch this. The desires arise from the feeling again, and every feeling gives rise to what? Desire. They got to go together. When the heart wants what it wants and the ego self wants what it wants, they're not in harmony together. They're in contradiction. AK, the heart is huddled, the ego is set. They're in constant battle. Good versus evil. Watch this. Now, you will be taking an important step on the way to knowing thyself, aka obtaining self-knowledge of the conscious self in the body. When you think of yourself as what? An intelligent, feeling being other than what we call spiritual beings having a human experience. He didn't have that concept, obviously, but he's pretty much saying the same thing his way. Again, you think of yourself as what? Intelligent, feeling, present through what? Your voluntary nervous system. We are, inside of us is a nervous system that runs the body. And the intellect runs that. The subconscious controls it. Watch this. But now you got a nervous system as what? Distinct. It's distinct from the body, which you what? Feel. And simultaneously as the conscious power of your desire surging through your blood, yet, which is not the blood, feeling and desire should synthesize what? The four senses. It should increase them. And understanding of the place and function of feeling and desire is the point of departure from what? The beliefs which for many ages have caused the doers and human beings to what? Think of themselves merely as what? Mortals. I tell you, we are guys in the flesh. I don't care what you heard, what no, I'm telling you what it is. Simple as that. Now you can do what you want, but if you pay attention there, you'll agree eventually with me. Why? That's what it is. That's this. Now with understanding again of what? Feeling and desires in the human, which is you, the philosophy, there you go, of the India may now what? Be continued with new appreciation. The Indians had this concept, and we Westerners don't. So we had to learn a little bit. But watch this. I'm almost done. The, matter of fact, I'm gonna stop right there because there's got so much stuff here. So much stuff. Oh, I got too much stuff. But let me wrap this up with. Let me say right here where we at. Owing to the general lack of clearness in the Eastern philosophy, watch this, and the fact that it appears to be self-contradictory as a guide to what? Knowledge of oneself in the body. He called you the doer and one's real self. The ancient teachings of India seems to be doubtful and undependable. One returns one returns to the West concept of thinking. Indians think they way and we think our way. And then it takes you into concerning Christianity. The actual origins of history of Christianity are what? Obscure. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna get the next lesson picked up from here. So I'm gonna put no X right there and watch the spot. I'll be back. Hope you enjoyed the lesson about feeling and desires. Hope you understand it. Again, it's all about obtaining knowledge of self. To what? Be your best self. That's the goal. That's my intent. That's my mission. And I'm on it. Doggone it. I'll be back.